Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And yes, the three amigos are back for round three. Dion, how are you?
Howdy guys, doing great. Ready for round three.
And Matt?
Thankful that we weren't recording the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was some good stuff, folks. You missed it.
I was thinking the opposite thing. I mean, other than a few lawsuits, I think that would have been very entertaining for everybody that watches us.
Yeah, you can put that on your channel.
We could put it on mine, but not many people would watch it.
It'd go viral. It'd go viral. It was that good.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I want to talk about here is we got some data about existing home sales. I actually saved it. I did not talk about it this morning, so I saved it for this conversation. And lo and behold, existing home sales are up. Shocking, I know. But a lot of people were calling for this to, for the market to cool down. They didn't really expect it. I sent the article to both of you. Have you both read it?
Didn't read that one, but read one a day ago and ready to talk about it. Yes.
Okay, cool. So yes. We'll go to Dion first because he did his homework. So Dion, what'd you see in that article? I do have it up if we want to pull it up, but I don't know that we have to.
I saw a tool that
back off.
So I have a friend closing on a duplex, and people's fear of what's going to happen is something you can use against them.
Ooh.
If you think that there's going to be a housing boom, you can get people to make decisions faster. If you think things are going to be softening, like we used the inspection report to get $10,000 knocked off of their thing. Normally, when I make use the inspection report to get the price lowered, I name an amount, and the seller comes back with half. But I threw into the seller, it's plateauing.
Yeah.
There's less houses being sold, so offers are going to be disappearing. And they accepted the 10,000 without coming back at half like they normally do. So when we see articles like this, figure out if there's a way to use it in your investing strategy that will benefit you.
Yeah. And Matt, what were your kind of takeaways?
I think that, well, Mike, so it was what you and I were talking about, which is I think that people will continue to reevaluate the premium of new property, the premium of the new housing, right?
I think that's
so. Yep. For me, I am, when you build a house here in my market, you are likely 120 years newer.
Only 120 years.
Only 120. But that building's been through all the revamps, all the wiring, all that stuff, right?
And it survived 120 years.
Exactly. It's largely, no offense to new construction, it's built better.
Oh,
it just is.
Dude,
right?
They are. I own homes built in the early 1900s. And when you finally get the plaster off, they were just built different.
Yeah. I mean, just all the cool things about that stuff is all the stuff that I like to touch. But again, this is where when you and I talked about it, we were like, you know what? There's eventually going to get that exhaustion feeling. I mean, there were just buildings that were built. They're 1,700 square feet and they're 539.
Wow. What is that a foot? 230?
No, three. It's over three a foot. It's over 300 a foot. And it's like, I can tell you the last deal that I bought, single family home, I paid, it was a vintage home. It was a 1910 home. I think I paid 120 a foot.
Yeah. It's just
amazing house I can make for even another $50 more, right?
Yeah.
170 into it. And that's what people have to be thinking. So I just think that these numbers largely kind of reflect what that experience is for folks.
Well, just so we know, Ivy Zellman said you're doing the right thing. Go buy existing housing stock, fix it up, rent it. So Ivy Zellman gives you a big thumbs up. Just so
perfect.
You know.
I'm not a syndicator and I don't want her money.
Yeah, exactly. You're not paying for that.
But I have a nice 6 and 20 I can introduce her to.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. But she got money to lend. Exactly. So again, I think there's a couple of things I took away from the article that were subtle details. Because again, headlines at this point, I'm just like, I don't even care, right? I want the data. First, 28% record low first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
That caught my attention because I think some first-time home buyer tax credits or incentives are coming.
Oh, yeah.
And again, what happens when you do that? You sprinkle in more demand into lack of supply and housings go up again. It's kind of how it works.
It's like the government trying to sprinkle a little more in and the top falls off and it douses whatever you were sprinkling with like a big, huge pile of salt.
Yeah.
Enjoy how that's going to taste.
Yeah.
Like
So
that's just what I think is coming, because you look at all these programs, Mike. You look at what we talked about where everyone was, saying to us, well, that's not what the article says. No. I read it word for word.
yeah, it was right there.
Read it. I'm a ninth grade dropout. I can't make things up. I'm not that bright. I have to read exactly the words that are there. So I know exactly what the article said. They said that they are bringing those products to market where it's zero weight is put on your credit score. Bupkis. It's just, do you have 3% down? P.S. By the way, they didn't remove the rule that says you can get the seller to contribute up to 3.5% of your costs. So I'm essentially going to get paid. I will find a deal, and I will help one of my students find a deal where they get paid to close on a house.
Yeah.
I will find that, because that's the market, and that's what the government is creating. When you when you have no standard for credit and you say, only 3% down. And that's like the 5th program that they've rolled out like that.
Yeah, it's coming. I think they're going to get through this, 3.5, this 2 trillion, whatever it's going to be first, because they got to get it done by Halloween. But then, yeah, early next year, it's going to be a thing. What can we do for first-time home buyers? Because again, I don't necessarily think, 28% is a number, right? I guess it's not good or bad, but it's certainly trending in the wrong direction, right? I think getting on the property ladder is important. That's why both what you guys teach is so important, right? House hacking, self-management. It's a great way to start. The cheat code to wealth, all of that. So that one caught my attention. And then the other one was inventory, right? I've been calling for inventory to increase. It was actually one of the tenets that I had for the real estate slowdown. It's going down 2 months in a row. Because anytime it happens once, I'm like, I've been doing this too long. A blip's a blip.
Sure.
But now you can at least draw a line. There's 2 points, right? We peaked at 1.32. We are now at 1.27. And we are still discombobulated with inventory. What that means is below 250K has never been this tight. A lot of the inventory that has grown is above 500,000. I don't know about you, but I don't buy a lot of homes for $500,000 as rentals. It's just a different market, right? It's the whole K-shaped recovery. So it feels like the one rental at a time community is we're fishing in the right areas, but it's tough. So what do you think, Dion?
Well, if there's a reduction in first-time home buyers, that doesn't really translate to a reduction in buyers.
True.
The number of transactions that happened.
Yeah.
And we are seeing wage inflation across the board.
No question.
I run a truck driving school, and in 2020, the beginning of 2020, an average starting wage for a graduate was about $70,000 a year.
Okay.
We have companies right now starting at 105 with a $30,000 bonus at the end of 6 months.
Wow.
That's not, if you find that company online, it's not one I would recommend anybody go to. There's a bunch of reasons not to go there. But most of the other companies, Walmart's starting their drivers over 90,000 a year now. And so there's other companies that are, and that's just driving. Yeah. Everything that we're delivering that's costing more, the people that are in that whole supply chain are going to be making more. And home buyers buy on payment.
Exactly.
As your wages go up, you can afford more. So the number of the price of the house is almost nothing. And literally I don't know if they're good or bad, but agents present it like a used car salesman. If you look at this house, here's your payment. Don't look at the numbers.
Yeah. Don't look over here. Look over here.
You can afford. Right. And so those prices are going to continue to go the same way. And then it'll hit first time buyers if we get those programs, more of those programs. I mean, they're already coming. So it basically comes back to the same thing for me. It's always a great day to buy, or always a good day to buy a great deal. Yeah. And the longer you wait right now, the more you're going to pay.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's just set up to be a market that's not going to slow down. And it seems like everything going on around real estate is impacting demand. Nobody has solved the riddle for 1.27 million homes available when it should be 3 million. Nobody has solved that riddle. Nobody's even talked about solving that. I don't care if you take away down payments, you give everybody a loan that wants it, you still have 1.27 million homes available. What happens if you double demand? Prices go up. I mean, it's Econ 101, supply and demand. So Matt, I don't know if anything strikes you about this, but
Yeah, I think the only thing you're going to see is I think that there's going to be continued pressure on the new home builders.
How so?
I think there's going to be continued pressure there because I think costs, input
Oh,
costs,
yes, right.
delays, I mean, from, with houses that we flip, right? We can do one in 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And now you can't.
No,
You
it's one
cannot.
item, right? I had one flip 3 weeks late because the kitchen sink I wanted.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't replace it because I already had the granite cut.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we had one where it was 6 weeks for windows.
Yeah.
And they got delayed at 6. They were told 8. They got delayed at 8. We were told 10. I can't sell a house without windows.
It's kind of cold.
People want windows. I'm like, you're being rigid. I'll give you windows.
Yeah.
Like, I need windows.
I'll give you a credit for windows.
It's always something with people. They want windows. But that's the kind of thing that we're running into, right? Is it's like, I used to be able to like dialed in. I knew day one, this is when I needed to order everything. And even day one, Mike, I could order everything and I would be done in 30 days on a flip.
Yeah.
And now you can't do that. It is 60, 90 days. And that's extra carry cost. It's labor delay.
Oh, carry cost. Yeah, absolutely.
Carry cost. But it's also the labor delayed side. Like I literally said to the guy,
you touch it, you buy it, Dan.
oh my goodness.
You touch it, you buy it. Woo. Where did that come from? What are you watching over there on mute?
No idea. But whatever it was on CNN. It's my phone shutting down. But that's really the thing. That's the thing that I think a lot of people need to be focused on is the fact that, all of these extra input costs, lumber did crash back down, but now it's rising back up, right? But the bigger, more difficult thing is not necessarily the cost, it's the availability.
Yeah. And again, you talk about stuff like a kitchen sink and windows, but now it's even scheduling jobs.
Yes.
Right? I have teams that I've used that I've done 58 flips. I rounded to 60.
Yeah.
And there's just so much going on. I can't, if I'm late a week, he's on another job and now I want him. And
exactly. I had that same exact thing happen where the guys literally, they were there to do a roof and he goes, there's a tree leaning on it. He goes, I can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a problem.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, fine. I was like, all right, well, when can we get back in the schedule? He goes, probably like 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I can have the tree out this afternoon. Well, my guys are somewhere else tomorrow.
Exactly. Well, no, they were somewhere else in an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way it goes. But that's the thing that I think is the biggest issue is it's the time, it's the availability of product, but it's also the availability of labor and recognizing that these guys are running their business the way that they're running business, which is the best that they can. Mm-hmm. And the good operators are doing a good job. The downside to this is that you can't find a second guy and you can't get them in there in a couple of days. It's 2 weeks, it's 3 weeks, it's a month out. Mm-hmm. One of the commercial people that I rent to, they literally said, so they're a all natural nail salon. Mm-hmm. They are booking right now, they're running specials for people to book before Christmas so they can have their nails done before Christmas.
Oh my God.
It's the 21st of October.
Well, and the one thing that we're losing now is the inventory surge that could come from people trying to avoid the tax changes for next year. Yes. We're pretty much at the point where now if it goes under contract, we probably might not be closing, especially with how long appraisals are taking. And
yes. Yeah, I had a triplex fully remodeled, dialed in, fully rented. It took me. We just closed it yesterday. It was the last flip I may ever do because I want to keep everything now, right?
Yeah.
It took 8 weeks, and it was a know nothing residential deal.
Yeah, I've got a friend closing on that duplex, and the appraisal is it's going to delay closing. That's everything else we were able to get everything done, but appraisal, and it's kind of something we probably should have done a video on today. But the desktop appraisal is becoming a thing permanently, where they don't even have to go to the property. They could just kind of go online and say, throw a dart at the wall. That's what we think it's worth.
That's going to create a fraud issue.
Well, where it creates the problem is somebody who wants to do a refinance a year later and they don't send out an FHA desktop appraiser. They send out an appraiser and they go, well, all these things that you couldn't see when he appraised it, I see them now. So they either don't count or they need to be adjusted and you can't do a refinance. That's where
or you did all the work and then you get a desktop and then what do they see for all the work that you did?
Only what's in the county's records. Nothing that you've done. Right.
Yeah. Fun time. So at the end, again, we've had 3 conversations. We helped a student. We basically said, might want to sell. Number 2, we talked about Ivy and how we don't see a connection. And oh, by the way, she says go buy older homes and rent them. So I kind of like that. And now we're talking about sales still being low, first-time home buyers, lots of salt being added to it. Maybe the top comes off. So again, I'm not slowing down, guys. I don't know about you, but it's always a good day to buy a great deal. I'd love to buy 5, 6, 7 more before the end of the year. So how about you, Dion? What are you doing?
Well, I put my buying on hold to help my friend buy her duplex. So she closes on November 2nd. So I'm back in the hunting mode. So I would like to at least get a deal under contract in the next 30 days.
Nice. Keep us informed. And how about you, Matt? You just got a deal, I guess.
I did. I just put one under last night. And it's the funny
Is it
thing
that 13 or what, how many units is this one?
No. So this one's a try.
Oh, just 3
Just
units.
a try.
Just boring.
Yeah. We closed on the 9. We closed on the 12. So those are both closed. And then we've got this one, which is a try. And I literally told my wife 2 days earlier, I said, this is the first time this year that I haven't had a deal under contract.
Wow. Well, you fixed that.
First time. What's that?
You fixed that. You just,
yeah. And not on purpose. It went on, and it was an MLS deal.
Oh, there we go.
Went on MLS
Be
and
fast.
knew my market numbers were there. And I was like, let's do this thing.
Man, I'm so happy. I'm so thankful for giving us time, the 3 amigos. Matt, how can people find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday. Real Estate Palooza, 3 hours, your questions, my answers, and a bunch of really horrible jokes.
Dad jokes. And Dion, how about you?
Better than Matt.
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. And on Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah.
For now, as long as there's enough interest, I will be doing live streams as well. Try to answer all of your questions.
You guys go support them. Matt on Sunday, Dion on Tuesday evening. These guys give so much. So go support them, tune in, tell them to keep going. So thank you guys for all you do.
Thanks, Mike.
Mhm.